Okay folks, this is Kim Willis and I've got another one of my mini guru video reviews, and this review is about a guy who's made quite a mark in the network marketing kind of space, affiliate marketing as well, David Wood. Now, I've been following David Wood for several years. I first came to know of him when he became a rising star in a lead funnel system, MLSP, My Lead System Pro. And David went on to break all sorts of sales records with MLSP. And he was using mainly or even exclusively organic strategies, particularly to do with video marketing, blogging, SEO. He was getting content ranked and got a lot of traffic from it. He's a bit of a force of nature, this David Wood. He's a guy that's kind of very polarizing. You either love him or you hate him. He's had a kind of a up and down ride over the last few years. He's certainly had some incredible successes, particularly after he started his own business with David Sharp, Empower Network. And but then, of course, inevitably there was some fallout and it started to decline. But being the sort of guy that he is, he he kept innovating. He kept doing what he does so well, essentially hustling. And he's still very much in the game, an incredibly impressive guy. And I've actually, he wouldn't remember this, but I actually have spoken to him on Skype. I had a chat Skype with him, and it was about kind of a related matter. And he came across as a really kind of decent human being. Now, his claim to fame: American Internet Marketing and Marketer, a network marketer. One and the same thing, right? Business owner. He owns Empower Network. He was in partnership with David Sharp, but David Sharp resigned a few years ago, maybe 2 years, 3 years, something like that. 2 to 3 years ago. And so David Wood's been running the show ever since. He's got some good people around him. He's a smart guy, so he knows what is required to make a business fly. Currently, as I understand it, his marital status is engaged. He was married previously, but that fell apart. I think his wife headed off to Hollywood or something with stars in her eyes and wanted to become a movie star. Not sure what's transpired since then. It's not important. But as I understand it, he's got one kid. I could be wrong there, maybe more than that. He's 35. He lives in Costa Rica. He's an American. He lives in Costa Rica. I think he originally came from Alaska, and but he obviously likes the warm weather, so he certainly got that in Costa Rica. And he's, for those of you who follow it, his star sign is Taurus, which means, actually, one of the leading attributes of a Taurus is that they're very stubborn, right? You can't move them off a position. Taurus, the bull. You can't move them off a position once they've set their sights firmly on it. And maybe that's true of David. Sounds like it is. His core business is Empower Network, but he has developed other funnels, other platforms that all relate back to Empower Network. So his latest one is Project Titan. Project Titan, which you've got to watch the presentation a few times to get your head around it. But essentially the niche that they're targeting there is the coaching niche, because there's he is right when he says that the coaching industry, the coaching profession, has become very big in the last 5 to 10 years. Lots and lots of people label themselves as coaches now, and lots more people are angling towards becoming a coach for themselves, in all sorts of niches. It could be fitness, sport, personal development, internet marketing, you name it. The world is awash with coaches, but there's ever more of them joining the industry. And so Project Titan is offering products and services to help them become coaches and become successful in their own coaching businesses. So whereas Empower Network was about teaching people how to use a blog effectively. And certainly a lot of people gained a lot of knowledge and made a lot of money by promoting the Empower Network blogging system and platform. So there you have it. David's income sources, Empower Network and its spin-off funnels and platforms. He still makes money from affiliate marketing. I believe he still receives an income from funnel systems like MLSP and beyond. Brickbats. His evangelical tone may be off-putting for some. He comes from that kind of a background. And some of his wackier ideas don't work, and they sort of flame out after a period of time. But when he gets it right, it often succeeds spectacularly well. Empower Network, the original program Empower Network, being a great example of that. And I think they've done well over $100 million in sales now with Empower Network. In fact, I know they have. Bouquets. Well, he's a fabulous motivator and pitch man. He has excellent teaching skills. He's one of these guys who can teach and motivate at the same time. He gets people excited. He gets people to the point where they're actually believing that they can make it happen for themselves, which is one of the requirements of great leadership. Outstanding capacity to think creatively and laterally. Impressive ability to bounce back from adversity. That's another big thing there. As I said, he's stubborn. He's got a lot of courage. Definitely more bouquets than brickbats. You could do worse than getting involved with David Wood, for sure. Now here are the links that we looked at, that I'm looking at, and these are the keywords that I looked at, the main keywords. David Wood Empower Network, David Wood Project Titan, David Wood Numis Network. He was in that for a couple of years before he started Empower Network. Numis Network flamed out. It wasn't his business, but he was a distributor. He was a rep for Numis Network, and he was also a rep for, and he became quite successful in it, for a personal development network that was started by, a personal development network marketing business that was started by Brian Tracy. And Brian Tracy decided to change direction. It never really took off in a big way, but that really hurt David. And I think from the ashes of those experiences came the idea to start his own business, namely Empower Network. And the other keyword that I looked at was David Wood MLSP. David Sharp, Empower Network, had a look at that. And Empower Network. Yeah, David Sharp's a top motivator himself. He's been quite a leader. He has had some health issues. He's had some substance abuse issues, big time. And but I believe he's definitely on the recovery path now, and has been for some time. So let's have a look at some of these websites. First one is the empowernetwork.com website. So this is the base, and there's you can have a look at that. Enter your details here. Step 1, discover the shortcut, and so on. So you can go through a learning process there. Ideally, you'll be sponsored in by somebody, somebody that you can work with. They've got a new blogging platform called Kalatu blogging system. And I hope that this blogging system is more effective than the other one that crashed and burned, which I think they called the Beast or something like that. That did not work out. Had a lot of bugs in it and all the rest. It cost them a fortune actually to develop it. But this one apparently is much, much better. I've had a bit of a glimpse at it. It looks pretty good. I must say. So I hope that one really works well for them. So you can have a look at that. That's Empower Network. So you can have a look at that. That's empowernetwork.com. The next one I've got for you is Work with David Wood. Now, this was his original site. He had more hair there, he had a good mullet there, but he's cut his hair short now. He's receding very, very rapidly. He comes from a long line of balding people in his family. But this was his the original platform that he created, a blogging platform, when he started with MLSP. And as the story, or as legend would have it, this was his first foray into the world of internet marketing. Okay, and he's certainly made a big splash, that's for sure. So he's still got that original platform. That's his personal, non-corporate platform. And he's great at producing content. He's a brilliant communicator and promoter using both the printed word and video. Video would be his real forte. He's awesome with video. Although I do find that some of his videos go far too long. He kind of overindulges himself, I think. And there was one that I was watching, would have been about 3 weeks ago, and there was a time, it was about maybe, it was certainly past the 1 hour mark, may have been like 90 minutes, and it was at that point, either the 1.25 hour, 1.5 hour point, when he should have cut it. He should have stopped it then. It would have been perfect. But he had to go off track and start talking about all of these other esoteric issues, and it wasn't necessary. And I think a lot of people would have been tuning out by that point. But that said, he's phenomenal in his own way. He's sensational. So if you haven't heard him before, you really need to listen to him, because he's quite the guy. Now, what else have I got here? This is a review, and it's not an impartial review. There is an agenda here. This is David Wood's right-hand man, I believe, Chris. And they're talking about Colatu Premium, Colatu Basic, Affiliates Update, and so on. Maybe I should join it. It's looking... It just reminds me how, when I looked at it a month or two ago, it did look good. There is an offshoot funnel. It's called iPass 2, and that's now merging and integrating with Empower Network. That's handy to know. That was quite successful for a time, but they kind of flame out, these lead funnel systems. They flame out after the initial hype, and that's possibly what happened there. But yeah, there's some value there. But this is not a bad little information site. Okay, she's obviously an Empower Network rep, but LynnBrownOnline.com. Go and have a look at that one. She's got some pretty good content on that site. So that one popped up fairly early in the piece when I was doing my research. And then finally, I've got a video here of on YouTube. David Wood's a little bit old. He says his hair is the giveaway there, but David Wood giving some great motivation as well as information. So you can have a look at that, and that's Create Your Wealth YouTube channel. So just type that in, and you'll see that video there. There are obviously other videos. Now, David Wood has helped a lot of people make a lot of money over the years, and I see up here one of the recommended videos that YouTube are offering up to me is a name there, Vic Strezus, something like that. He was a top producer with Empower Network, but he's not there now. He's gone. He's moved off to another thing, or several other things. Right, so there's a lot of people like that who jumped in for a year or two and made a lot of money, and then flamed out when the going got tough. The good news is that David has a core of people that continue to support him. A strong core, pretty well rock solid, I would say. And that's when I take notice. When a leader has that sort of thing happening, you've got to be impressed. Because a lot of lesser leaders, they will lose their people once the hype dies down. Weaker people, they may have made a lot of money, but they're always after the quick buck, and they move off, right? So it's at that time when the company becomes incredibly vulnerable to an implosion, and it's at that time when a lot of these companies just disappear. But David Wood and Empower Network didn't go away. It didn't go away. When it started imploding 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of people were saying, well, that's the end of Empower Network. Well, they're still here. And David is still innovating, still leading from the front, still charging from the front, as only he knows how. So that's it. I'm not an affiliate for Empower Network. But if I was going to join another program, this one would be right up. It'd be up there towards the top. It'd certainly be in the top 5, and maybe even closer to number 1. So that's it from me. David Wood, Empower Network, David Wood Project Titan. That's his new one, his new baby. All right. This is Kim Willis. Bye for now.